Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex, and today we're going to talk about replay. So, the ability for coaches to use the video on the sideline or the bench during the game. This seems to be a common thing that is being brought up more and more. So, that ability to be able to use video live during games, whether it's for looking at the last play to be able to make an adjustment, or maybe it's tagging games live. So today we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you some examples of how our technology now is being used in different sports by different coaches. So let's go ahead and take a look. When it's to replay, we are making the impossible possible. So again, we've been around for a long time. We've been doing this for 15 years. So we've been helping coaches be able to use video for a long, long time. And so our replay product was something that we added within the last 5 years. And as you all know, my name is Alex. I'm the guy who founded this whole thing. So I started VidSwap 15 years ago. And then we knew about 5 or so years ago that we wanted to get into starting to giving live video access to coaches during the game, right? And so now that we're a part of Pixelot, we've got some really cool things and cool ways of how we can put that all together in an even better way. So what does a replay really mean? It's really about solving workflows for coaches from anywhere and doing it easily. So what that means is that we're basically giving coaches access to the live camera feed, right, during the game, whether that's locally or whether that's over the internet, and then allowing them to have multiple sources. So that could be a Pixelot camera, it could be camcorders, it could be using iPhones, right, your iPhones or iPads, IP cameras, feeding that in and having multiple different feeds and capturing multiple angles, right? We really support up to about 10 different angles. And then also having really high quality. So being able to shoot 1080p 60 frames, right? And then having that in-game playback. So being able to look at an iPad and watch the last play, make an adjustment as a coach, or maybe it's during practice, right? And then this access is for not just coaches, but also officials. So at the high school level, certainly coaches are using video to make adjustments, but also at the college level, we're seeing officials replay, challenge replay. And then there's tagging. So being able to tag games and practices live on the iPad as it's happening. And then also take that and use it when you're offline, when you're on the bus, in the airplane, in the airport, and all these different places that you still want to be able to get work done when you get back to the school, your home, your office, right? And keep going. And so all these different use cases, I've kind of mentioned a few of them, really come down to at the high school level, we've got coaches who want to be able to use it during the game, right? They're watching video, and we're starting to see more coaches in more sports outside of just football that want to start leveraging being able to use that video during the game on the bench. And then there's tournament scenarios of multi-camera capture, like baseball tournaments, volleyball tournaments, right? Basketball. And then we've got our college and our pro, which want to leverage that ability to use it for coach replay and officials replay, challenge replay, right? A call happens, official comes to the scoring table, looks at the iPad, and then maybe changes the call based on what they saw. And then those higher levels want to be able to leverage that live tagging during the game. So tagging games in a way that they need to. So at the end, they can hand the iPad to the coach has it, and they can start to use that when they get on the bus, on the airplane, as they go back home. So here's a nice little shot of what a replay system might look like. So this is a pretty typical 3-point system for us, where at the very top in a football stadium, our point number 1 might be plugged into the school network, pulling a Pixelot camera in, or maybe they've got a camcorder plugged in, maybe they're using an iPad to film, then there's a Wi-Fi hotspot. It's creating its own network. So the system, it's not using the school network or anything else, but it's creating its own network that you can use on the field. So wherever you take it, it's portable. You can take it anywhere you go and leverage that anywhere. So then there might be a second point here that maybe you have an end zone camera, a second angle plugged into it, that you're pulling those multiple feeds in. And then a third point on a football field where we expand the network. So where the coaches are, there's a Wi-Fi hotspot that's going to give them a great experience. So on these larger fields, these larger areas where we need to make sure that we're getting coaches closer to a Wi-Fi hotspot, that's what that's for. Here's some great shots of when coaches are at a game using the VidSwap plate during that game. So this is some arena fall. This is down in Arizona. These coaches are using in the bench during the game. What I want you to notice here is that in a venue like this where there's a lot of people, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's interference. There's all sorts of radio waves flying through there that our system was designed to be able to handle that really well. And so these coaches are in 20-some thousand seat arena with people in there. And they're having a great experience pulling up a sideline and an end zone. Here's another great shot of high school coaches using their iPads during the game. And they also built a really cool cart that they put a flat screen TV in, and then they could wheel it on and off the field for every game. So here's another great shot of one of our camera angles that we offer is for high school football. This is a pretty common view that we're used to seeing on a Friday night. You've got these 20-foot pole end zone cameras that you've got an operator sitting at the bottom. He's moving that camera around. Well, if you look to the left of it here, there's an unmanned camera, and this is our end zone camera. So we've got a PTZ camera on top of there, and I'll play it here so you can see it. The operator's actually sitting in the press box. So he's not standing down at the bottom. He's sitting here on an iPad, and he's controlling that pan and that zoom right there. Okay, really simple, really easy. And then here's another shot of, so in the event that you've got a coach who isn't using the Pixelot camera, but they want to film it, because certainly there's a lot of football coaches who we like to film our video the way we want to. I was a 15-year offensive coordinator, so I'm certainly guilty of wanting to have high control over how my video was being filmed and how I instruct my filmers. So here, they're using one of our sideline camera systems here now. It's filming this game in 1080p 60 frames, so high quality 60 frames there. She's tagging this game ODK, starting and stopping it, and it's pulling both of those feeds in from the side and that end zone camera. So now it's giving those coaches that ODK and those two different angles on any iPad right in the bench or up in the press box. So here, let's take a quick look at, I'll show you what this looks like now. So I've got the iPad here, and this is actually that same game where we've got the video, and you can see the quality of it looks just fantastic. So I can pause it. I can actually draw on screen with my finger if I wanted to here. Okay. I can double tap. I can pinch to zoom in, go back out. Right. I can go to the next screen here. Okay. I can toggle between the different views. So here's that end zone view of that camera that's being moved and panned and recorded by the guy in the press box. Right. So I am toggling between these different views here. Okay. And you can tell the quality looks just fantastic. And which is what we want. We want to be able to give, especially these football coaches who they want to have a great experience of watching their video, using those different angles to get exactly what they need. All right. So now let's take a look at the different setups. So we've also got basketball. So imagine as a basketball coach, you walk into your gym and you connect to Wi-Fi and you can pull that pixel lock camera feed in and you've got that iPad on the bench and you're using that video during the game to be able to make adjustments really easily, just like this. Just using it, pulling that video in and making those video reviews, right? Really simple. Or maybe even at the college level, it's used for officials. So you're pulling that feed in, the official comes over to the scoring table and is able to then make their calls. Ice hockey. This is another common use case where we're giving them the ability to put up additional cameras behind the goalies. So now you've got not only your ice shot, right, your mid-ice shot, but you've got these zone shots behind your goalies that you can then toggle between and look at during the game, as well as once it uploads into the system, then you can use that as well. Just like this. Here in Minnesota, hockey's pretty big, certainly. And so we've got a lot of coaches who love to be able to use that video during the game, right, and make adjustment. Soccer, same thing, right? We can take that feed from the pixel lock camera, pull that in, use that video down on the bench during a match. And then here's some examples of if we're adding additional angles in soccer, like goal cams, say an additional camera might look like. In volleyball, we use the same type of mount where we can mount these up around a court, right, as well as around a baseball field. Okay, so mounting these cameras up around baseball to give yourself those multiple angles that as baseball and softball coaches you want, right? You want to be able to get these shots, your shot of your center field shot, right, of the pitcher in the batter's box that we might see on ESPN. And then you've got your open and your sides, and you then have a wide shot. Imagine being able to film all of these shots seamlessly where you go with a full system, and then that right into VidSwap. So then you've got any angle, any pitch, any batter, whatever you're trying to see, right? Becomes really pretty powerful. In fact, the baseball team, they've been using our camera setup for the last probably 4 or 5 years now. And they take that everywhere they go around the Big Ten. And here's an example of our volleyball setup. So we've also got a lot of college teams using our challenge play setup. So replay for volleyball is starting to get a lot more prevalent, right, at college level. So having 4 to 6 different angles of a net cam, baseline cam, sideline cams, right, all these different angles is becoming pretty important. And to be able to do that effectively can be a challenge. So this same system can then be used to do that. So official comes over to the scoring table, can pick up an iPad, and then take a look at any particular angle, and then slow it and see what they need to see. This is what our cases look like. So they're extremely portable and durable. So wherever you're going to take them, they're going to be protected, and you can be happy knowing that. And here's a look at some of the access points. So certainly what makes this really work is the fact that we're using wireless point-to-point technology. So then you don't have to wire everything hundreds of feet or yards to be able to get those connections. So this is what on our main point, maybe up on a press box somewhere, you've got this antenna which is pointed out and it's pulling all those feeds in from all the different camera angles that I might have out around a field. And then I've got this rabbit ear looking guy. He is my Wi-Fi access point that all my coaches in the press box can connect with on that iPad. And then maybe down on an end zone camera or around the field, you've got additional points and plugged in. So maybe you've got an existing end camera, it's running down, plugged into the kit, or maybe you've our end zone camera, and then this guy is connecting up to that press button, and you've got some rabbit ears here, Wi-Fi. And then again, on our larger field setups, we like to have an additional Wi-Fi hotspot like this that you can put near where all of your coaches and players are, so you know you're going to have a good experience no matter how far away you might be from all of the other equipment. So there we go. There we have it. So that is a really good look at our replay setups for VidSwap and how they can be actually leveraged for multiple different sports. So certainly football, right, has become kind of dominant way that it's being used. Lots of high school teams across the country, pretty much every state around the country is leveraging replay on the sideline during games. Only a few that don't, like Texas. It's the states that don't use the NFHS rules, right? Like Texas uses the college rules still. So, but all these other sports are starting to see what the football teams are doing, and now they're starting to leverage that, right? But it's also multi-camera capture. So it's from a baseball perspective, possibly using multiple cameras to get those different angles that you need to be able to use to get what you want from a coaching perspective. Or it's for challenge replay, right? From an official standpoint of making sure you got all your shots right around a volleyball court to be able to use so that you can challenge calls, right, and get bad calls reversed, things like that. So thanks for your time, everybody. I appreciate it. Contact us if you want to learn more.